This is Cronkite News.
Arizona is getting national attention for the increase in COVID-19 cases. We have to take this virus incredibly seriously.
Coming up, why Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego says Arizonans are getting mixed signals when it comes to combating COVID-19. Plus, the latest on the raging wildfire burning near Tucson as crews rush to fight the flames. And Cardinals receiver Larry Fitzgerald tells us why the NFL officially recognizing Juneteenth as a holiday means so much to him.
Cronkite News starts now.
Welcome to this Cronkite News Update. I'm Misha Jones. Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego is expressing her concerns about the mixed signals she says Arizonans are getting about COVID-19. She criticized Governor Doug Ducey for lifting the stay-at-home order, adding that Arizona didn't follow the guidelines issued by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. While not naming anyone specific, Gallego also criticized elected officials, saying they aren't modeling good behavior and aren't wearing masks. She began speaking out in response to Ducey's Thursday briefing over the recent spike in cases across our state. Before the news conference, Gallego had this to say about whether or not she and Ducey were on the same page.
I believe we have to lead with advice from public health professionals. I hope that I've been a strong voice for following those guidelines from the Centers for Disease Control and really looking at the data. From my perspective, we did not meet what is called the gating guidelines for reopening so many services.
Mayor Gallego did not say if she would call for another shutdown, but did say local governments who take the virus seriously will have a better recovery. Meanwhile, the number of jail inmates in Metro Phoenix who have tested positive for the coronavirus has surpassed the total among state prisoners. Officials say 290 of Maricopa County's 4,400 inmates tested positive as of Thursday. The sharp growth in cases has been attributed to more testing and contact tracing within the jails. Officials are now considering whether to test all jail inmates. This morning, ASU President Michael Crow announced face coverings will be required for all employees, students, and visitors, effective immediately. In a statement, Crow said scientific evidence is clear. Masks help reduce the spread of COVID-19. Face coverings will also be required in outdoor community spaces like garages and parking lots, ASU shuttles, bike racks, and sidewalks. The university previously stated that face masks will be required in the fall, but the change to make this a requirement sooner was in response to the recent spike in coronavirus cases across Arizona. Right now, as the Bighorn Fire continues to rage in Casa Adobes near Tucson, evacuation orders remain in effect for about 300 homes. Officials say the lightning-caused fire grew to over 7,000 acres this morning, and it's only 10% contained. Today, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell announced the league will recognize Juneteenth as a company holiday and close all NFL offices that day. Juneteenth is in reference to June 19th, the day celebrated as the effective end of slavery. This comes a day after the NFL announced it'll donate $250 million over 10 years to, quote, combat systemic racism and support the battle against the ongoing and historic injustices faced by African Americans. Players across the league are taking a stand. Cardinals wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald wrote an essay in the New York Times about his perspective on racial inequality after living less than a mile from the spot of George Floyd's death. He believes the moves from the NFL and Roger Goodell are a step in a positive direction.
He wants to be on the right side of history. He wants to make sure he's doing things to position our game to continue to grow and to be a game that's loved and appreciated by everyone. So trying to find that harmony. I'm happy and that we're treading in the right direction on this issue, and hopefully we can continue to gain traction by doing things like, recognizing Juneteenth and other things that are important to not only African Americans, but everybody that loves and watches the game.
ASU baseball hit it out of the park in the early rounds of the MLB draft. This marks the first time in program history 5 players were drafted in the first 4 rounds. The Detroit Tigers selected ASU slugger Spencer Torkelson with the number 1 overall pick. Torkelson is the fourth player in ASU history to be selected number 1. Shortstop Alika Williams is headed to the Tampa Bay Rays as the number 37 pick. Williams was named to the 2019 Pac-12 All-Defensive Team. Third baseman Gage Workman will reunite with Torkelson as a Detroit Tiger, and other ASU players drafted include second baseman Trevor Hauver to the New York Yankees and RJ Dabovich to the San Francisco Giants. Wednesday night, ASU's Spencer Torkelson went first overall in the 2020 MLB Draft, but as Jose Solis reports, he wasn't the only Arizonan to get picked in the top 10.
It's a trope common among all athletes. You work hard to get to the big leagues. But unlike most of his New Mexico State teammates, Vail native Nick Gonzalez joined the Aggies as a walk-on.
To lead into this is, just awesome for me, and then awesome for, kids, that aren't highly recruited in college or highly recruited at a high school or whatever it may be.
Gonzalez hit .399 at Cienega High School. He hoped to stay in Arizona to play college baseball, but received no interest from Arizona schools. Justin Martinez, who covered Gonzalez at NMSU, believes it may have had to do with size.
Size have always been an issue for him at 5'10". His throwing range isn't the best because of that. His frame is a little bit limited. But in terms of what teams weren't seeing, I'm not sure. He's always had the hitting speed. He's always had the power behind his swings.
The urge to succeed drove Gonzalez into being a go-getter. He earned All-American honors as well as being named the 2020 National Player of the Year by Collegiate Baseball.
When he was named the National Player of the Year, he actually found out while he was in the batting cage, working on his game some more. So I think it's just a matter of being in the cages and working on his game constantly.
There's been some slight mechanical adjustments that I made freshman year in order to tap into my legs a little more, getting bigger in the weight room, getting stronger, flexibility and everything like that.
Fine-tuning comes to Gonzalez as easy as breathing does. And as the latest Pittsburgh Pirate, Gonzalez is going to find any means of which to keep grinding. Jose Solis, Cronkite News.
That's it for this edition of Cronkite News. For Arizona news updates throughout the day, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and find us online at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.